I'm very excited to welcome Jessica and Edgar for this afternoon's talk. Many of you know them. In case you don't, they have been with us for just over a year now. They're both teaching foundation labs.
Yes.
And teaching a very engaged Building Cities class last fall, this semester. I'm not going to tell you their bio because you're going to see it in their lecture. You join me in welcoming them.
Thank you so much, guys. Okay, guys. We are educators, architects who foster an environment of leadership, establishing a collective context for learning that promotes a social transformation through education, design, and technology. Our professional experience has been guided by the interdisciplinary practice in the laboratory. For most of our work has been the Caribbean region, including Miami, the Bahamas, Mexico, Panama, and Colombia. Our practice as an architects and educators has given us the opportunity to continually move between Latin America, the Caribbean, and the city of New York, allowing us to interact in different geographical contexts with diverse societies and cultures, engaging with the new geographical landscapes, cultural traditions, architectural practice, and ways of communal living has depended our understanding of how educational and learning process function in various communities. This exposure has enriched our professional development and has radically influenced the academia strategies that we later apply to facilitate the exchange of knowledge and critical analysis of new challenges the profession faces in terms of local and regional development. This professional trajectory began in 2002, involving projects across several fields and scales. Distinguished among this is the documentation of historical sites in Exuma, Bahamas, conducted in collaboration with the Bahamas Antiques Monuments and Museums Corporation in the Florida Atlantic University. This trajectory also includes the design or resorts in White House, Jamaica, in partnership with Sandals Resorts, as well as urban development projects in Colombia during the construction boom that began in 2005, supporting the largest construction companies and developers of real estate in the region, designing multiple institutional hotels, residential, marinas, and master plan projects. Additionally, significant work includes interior and high-end retail environments worldwide projects led at Christian LaHood Studio in New York City. It is essential for us to emphasize that during all of these years of professional practice, as architects, we have simultaneously engaged in academia work through collaboration with municipal authorities, foundations, communities, and public and private educational institutions across Latin America and the United States. Each area of our work enriched the other. At times, we introduce what we practice, while in other instances, we apply in our work the concepts developed in academia. The knowledge acquired with this period provide us with expertise and courage needed to undertake one of the most significant projects of our lives, which will directly involve individuals who, like us, share the desire to transform society. That project called Neopictonic, which began 10 years ago in a Barnes and Noble cafe in New York City, is the one we are here to share with you today.
In 2010, we made a choice. Leaving the warm shores of the Caribbean, we set out from Cartagena de Indias, a city of history and mystery, to New York, a metropolis full of restless energy. Cartagena, where the past lingers in every wall, stood in contrast to New York's constant motion. This journey marked more than a change in place. It reflected the tension between history and modernity, stillness and speed. Today, we'll explore this journey and the connections between space and time and architecture. This is Cartagena de India, nestled along Colombia's Caribbean coast, a UNESCO World Heritage Site since 1984. But beneath its charming facade lies a city grappling with socioeconomic challenges, from poverty to environmental degradation. Cartagena's charm conceals a dynamic past, having served as the pivotal port for the Spanish Empire in the Americas during the 16th and 17th centuries. This historical importance fuses seamlessly with an array of cultural influences, encompassing colonial heritage, diverse architecture, cultural traditions, and the unmistakable imprint of African culture. Socioculturally, Cartagena is a tapestry of historical and contemporary nuances. The city's unique wealth lies in its ability to blend ethnic diversity with artistic expressions, music, dance, and gastronomy. Despite its status as one of Colombia's most quickly growing cities, Cartagena faces complex challenges, facing issues of growing poverty, inequality, and habitat destruction. We dreamed of changing the world, starting with Cartagena, Colombia, by fostering the development and transformation in Latin America through the enhancement of design and education. Our mission involves creating academic programs that emphasize innovative design and technology, content, aligning with environmental, societal, and regional needs. With 20 years of interdisciplinary practice, our journey has been deeply rooted in Cartagena's landscape. We finished high school and our architecture degrees in Cartagena before our paths crossed. Together, we worked on a diverse range of projects, from master plans, institutional residential architecture, to interior and urban design. However, our influence extends far beyond architectural projects. As professors, we pioneered unconventional pedagogical approaches, challenging students to think critically. We have taught from children to seasoned professionals in Colombia, Mexico, Panama, and the United States, fostering environments that emphasize investigative, theoretical, and practical learning. We integrate environmental principles into design projects, aiming to restore urban and rural areas, collaborating with students. Our pursuit of a Master of Architecture degree from Montreal Polytechnic Institute in 2013 laid the foundation for establishing a design laboratory focusing on multidisciplinary approaches, merging design with technology, science, and biology to address the Caribbean environmental and developmental challenges. We aim to enhance design education in Latin America by promoting the use of design thinking and technology to effect positive societal change. Our mission is nothing short of changing the world, starting with Cartagena, by enhancing design education and fostering innovation. We plan to empower students to become agents of positive change in their communities. Through our efforts, we're equipped the next generation with the tools to tackle pressing societal and environmental issues. Comprehensive transformation is rooted in the ideals of education, art, design, technology, and recognizing the potential of these for instruments of change. These ideals can generate significant impact on local communities by promoting education, facilitating equitable access to it, promoting innovative processes, and contributing to personal development and a change in mentality. From promoting global citizenship to instilling sustainability principles, our approach cultivates a new generation of designers poised to make a meaningful impact on a global scale. In education, shared resources encompasses materials, tools, or information shared among educators, students, or institutions to enhance teaching and learning. We became that shared resource, a bridge between the education we gained in New York and Cartagena. This created a catalyst for positive student transformation by linking technology and design for community progress. These lessons cultivate a global mindset, nurturing intercultural competence, awareness of global issues, and multilingual skills. Sustainability awareness and adaptability prepare students for a dynamic world, while empathy fosters understanding. The nexus of shared resources, technology, and design creates an enriching educational journey, shaping students into global citizens ready to contribute positively to a connected world. Moving the Immobile City forward, Efraín Medin Reyes, a celebrated Colombian writer, is renowned not only for his literary prowess, but also for his keen socio-political observations. Medina delves deep into the intricacies of Colombian society through his expressive narratives. One of his notable contributions is this term, ciudad immóvil, coined to describe Cartagena as the immobile city. A place seemingly frozen in time, resistant to change and progress. Through his works, Medina sheds light on Cartagena's stagnation, portraying it as a city trapped in its own history, unable to evolve for the betterment of its inhabitants. His writings serve as a mirror reflection of the challenges faced by Colombian cities, urging readers to confront the complexities of urban life and societal transformation. Poverty rates continue to surge, with over 16,000 individuals falling below the poverty line in 2022. Water pollution possesses a significant threat, particularly affecting the vital mangrove forest and endangering biodiversity and public health. But what does it mean to move an immobile city forward? It's about more than just physical transformation, it's about challenging mindsets and inspiring change. By addressing issues and socioeconomic disparities, we're laying the groundwork for a more inclusive and sustainable future. By integrating computer-aided design into education, students develop vital skills for their evolving landscape, enhancing employability and problem-solving abilities. Each exercise begins with establishing a scenario, allowing students to engage in debates, explore creative processes, and applying alternative design strategies in collaboration with us. These exercises delve into unfamiliar scenarios within professional practice, focusing on addressing environmental issues through design, digital tools, and behavioral biology of habitats. Collaborating with students, we initiate inquiries to establish theoretical foundations for comprehending and analyzing nature's guidelines in the design process, fostering the development of creative processes integrated into model creation. These models possess the capability to environmentally restore habitats in various settings. Students study species like coral reefs, mangroves, seaweed, oysters, and analyze their growth behaviors, chemical composition, biological characteristics, and physical structures. They utilize 3D modeling technologies and digital manufacturing techniques to explore these species' abilities to generate integrate structures in response to their environments. Through these models, students produce diagrams, physical models, 3D printed models, and simulations instrumental in analyzing habitat growth patterns and structures. These results inform practices combining theory, digital technologies, research, and construction processes, aiming to materialize outcomes through models merging specialized 3D technology and digital manufacturing methods. Students conduct a comprehensive review of the processes and present proposals for implementation, sparking analysis and revolutionizing interventions for regions facing environmental and societal challenges. We conclude activities with classes on digital software related to photo editing, layout, and video, emphasizing the potential for visual discourse across various platforms. In our methodologies, the use of technological tools is designed to foster critical thinking and enhance creative process. These technologies enable students to analyze and evaluate multiple perspectives more efficiently, facilitating the visualization of complex data, scenario simulation, and the development of interactive models. By integrating 3D modeling platforms, augmented reality tools, analysis software, and more, not only is problem-solving capacity improved, but it also encourages deep reflection on the social, cultural, and environmental impact of each design decision. This combination of digital tools and critical approaches transforms the creative process, promoting innovative solutions grounding in rigorous and contextualized analysis. Now, let's dive into several examples of projects conducted with students from the Universidad San Buenaventura de Cartagena, where various methodologies integrating technological tools and the development of critical thinking were applied. San Jose Galleon Museum, Architecture, Public Space, and Identity. The importance of historical heritage and their geographical context. The San Jose Galleon was a Spanish ship from the 17th century that sank in 1708 off the coast of Cartagena, Colombia, during a battle with the British Navy. The ship was carrying a valuable cargo of gold, silver, gemstones, and other treasures stolen by the Viceroyalty of Peru to Spain. Its wreck has become one of the most significant archaeological discoveries due to the magnitude of its treasure and its historical significance in transatlantic trade and colonial wars. Surrounding this discovery are numerous chronicles, myths, and legends that have over time become part of the collective imagination and the lure of pirates who plagued the city for centuries. The San Jose Galleon Museum would be situated at the edge of the Bay of Cartagena in an area known as the Arsenal of the Getsemani district. This area was the most important port for the Spanish Empire in the American colonies during the 16th and 17th centuries, from which all looted treasures of South America were shipped to Spain. Additionally, this site was a crucial center for the slave trade in the Caribbean and still retains one of Colombia's oldest post-conquest communities. The design process for Luisa and Michelle began with analyzing the diagrams generated digitally in Rhino, which examined historical aspects and visual narratives related to the myths and legends of the galleon. The museum, while being an architectural project, also aimed to strengthen students' connection with their culture and city. To develop this dynamic between architecture and identity, two premises were employed: the physical context and the collective imagination. On one hand, the goal was to connect individuals with the city through an understanding of the historical and cultural context, recognizing the evolution of its trades and heritage, of its traditions and heritage, as well as its natural context, considering the sea and the historic center as a geographic and urban element that define the environment. Simultaneously, the current urban context with its social and spatial dynamics was integrated with a collective imaginary context, exploring shared visions of the city's future. This fusion of the intangible and the imaginary, of the past and the present, reinforces the sense of belonging and empowers individuals in their interaction with the city and their identity. Environmental renewal of the Bay of Cartagena de Indias, architecture, habitat construction, coastal edge protection communities. This project was built upon a research-based theoretical and critical platform aimed at fostering learning in unconventional pedagogical settings, capable of providing innovative responses to the development of communities and regions. Students develop their ideas by exploring concepts that address topics such as habitat construction, the environment, ecology, biology, landscape, historical heritage, urbanism, public space, and coastal communities. The proposals involve the recovery, renovation, and construction of habitats in urban sectors with the capacity to restore the environmental balance of the area and serve as models of sustainability for the city. The methodology is guided by generative design processes, which facilitate the analysis of growth patterns in various habitats through diagrams, physical models, and 3D simulations. These extraordinary species are specialized in generating complex structures that respond to the changing conditions of their environment. The projects presented aim to generate interest and spark debate, as the proposals seek to create a space for discussing ideas and alternative design strategies that can lead to a shift in the way interventions are carried out in areas facing environmental and societal challenges. In conclusion, these exercises strengthen students' critical thinking by integrating design with technological programs and applying ideas in multidisciplinary fields. This holistic approach equips students with the necessary tools to tackle any challenges and apply their knowledge in various professional areas, promoting comprehensive development. Imagine this, a student, just like any other, attending classes and learning about 3D printing technology. But what sets a student apart is what they did next. Inspired by what he had learned in our classes, they didn't just stop at understanding the technology, they saw an opportunity. The student took the initiative to open their own business, offering 3D printing services to their classmates. You know what? It didn't end there. As demand grew, so did their ambition. They invested in more machines, expanded their services, and began catering to the entire city. What started as a simple introduction to 3D printing became a thriving business, all because of the knowledge and inspiration gained from our classes. This story isn't just about one student, it's a testament to the power of education to spark innovation and drive real-world impact. As we reflect on the past decade, we hear stories from those who have been touched by our work through shared resources and innovative pedagogy. We've empowered a new generation of designers to think critically, collaborate effectively, and drive positive change in their communities. With over 2,000 students taught in the past decade, those who were once our students are now practicing architects, educators, and researchers. They shared insights into the impact Edgar and I had on their education and careers. For example, Luis Quiroga, reflecting on his design journey, emphasized the seed of innovation planted during his first year studio. His professional growth unfolded in Cartagena, Santa Marta, and Medellin, prioritizing collaboration and challenging exclusive knowledge. Our teaching model played a fundamental role in shaping Luis's mindset towards civic participation in his professional career, highlighting the profound impact on his conceptualization of architecture and critical thinking. Mayra Prada, currently living and working in Cartagena, discussed her roles in both the private and public sectors, emphasizing the importance of shared information and methodologies in her teaching. She encourages students to explore and understand technological developments while integrating tools like artificial intelligence, emphasizing critical analysis in the design process. As a woman in a male-dominated field, her access to that information has been crucial in breaking gender barriers in architecture, providing unique advantages and broadening professional opportunities. Concluding interview with Daniel Toro, the academic vice rector at the Universidad Tecnológica de Bolívar, highlighted the university's motivation for pursuing shared resources with us. He emphasized the importance of comprehensive training in hard skills and technical competencies, with technology playing a crucial role. Toro expects graduates to be competitive, bridging gaps present in many job markets. He believes our program's strong characteristics will ensure graduates are well recognized for their skills and competencies in the future. In 2014, we began this strategic initiative to instigate positive transformation in a region that significantly shaped our professional and personal identities. This region, where unbelievable occurrences unfold daily, served as the backdrop for our endeavors. Through our dedicated commitment to education, we imparted a profound passion for design to our students, instilling them the belief that they possess the capacity to contribute meaningfully to local change. To achieve both short-term and long-term results, starting with this pedagogical project in the early semesters was strategically planned to create an immediate impact on students and institutions. This measure allowed the continuation of previously taught tools extending from the first to the fifth year of education, providing the opportunity to visualize a more significant impact. Every semester, the results obtained were meticulously evaluated to enhance the applied methods. The strategy was implemented in both public and private institutions, standing out for influencing many students and providing us with the opportunity to analyze the achievements attained at different stages of their academic journey. Over the past decade, our persistent efforts have garnered recognition at various junctures. Notably, in 2019, Edgar received the esteemed Architect of the Year award in Bolivar, acknowledging his tireless endeavors in reshaping the landscape of architectural education. During that same year, Edgar and I served as consultants for the development of the new architecture program at the Technological University of Bolivar. Additionally, we spearheaded the establishment of a novel design program oriented towards cultivating multidisciplinary designers capable of addressing diverse scales and meeting the evolving needs of the city and its inhabitants. In 2021, we assumed a consultative role for the Mayor's Office of Public Space, a testament to our educational contributions and an opportunity to contribute to the prospective urban plans for the walled city within our World Heritage Site. This, along with the words from various established professionals who benefited from the short resources we offered, affirms there has been a positive impact on the Caribbean coast of Colombia. Edgar and I have made a positive and lasting change to a small but special place in the world. Conclusion, we have demonstrated the power of education and innovation to transform communities. From our humble beginnings in Cartagena, we've shown that meaningful change is possible, one student at a time. As we look to the future, let us be inspired by our vision and commitment to building a world where design is a force for good. Thank you, everyone. We have purposely left this time at the end to get questions
Or comments.
or comments.
Yeah. Oh, wait.
My question is, what is the first step that you teach students how to tackle social economic and basically the landscape before they start?
The question is, what's the first step when we're going to tackle that social, economic, and landscape question? So the first step for Edgar and I is always developing the concept or the idea, and then that's going to come in as we start to analyze the site. So this image that we have up right now is of us taking the first years to walk around Cartagena to get to know their city and to start to understand the challenges that they face and the challenges that they can actually start to help in mitigating, help in mitigating them.
Yes, is one part as an educators is that the understanding that these students, they don't have a privilege to be in a place like this, at Virginia Tech. They don't have computers. Sometimes they don't have even money for lunch. So as an educators, we have to understand that situation and make them understand before start any process, before start any class, is to make them understand the possibility that they will have through education and through design, and make them understand that through the career, they can change their lives.
So did you guys see these problems when you both got into architecture and then you went into it knowing like these socio-economic problems that you wanted to fix? Or did they come about once you got into the profession? Benefit your community?
Yeah, that's a really good question because actually we lived those situations in the sense that we didn't have the opportunity and in terms of the access to technology or any kind of information because we lived there and we studied there. I think we had a good education as an architect, but also we didn't have that opportunity. We didn't have that access. So when we finished and we started traveling to New York and to all of these places and start working, we start thinking like, okay, what we're going to do, not just in Colombia, in the rest of the Latin America, we have the similar situation. So we start talking and having a plan for the future. New York, it plays a very important role because we had a conventional practice before 2010. And we saw that something was happening in the profession, and even in education. So that's why we made the decision to travel to New York and study in New York, to have more access to this, to have access to the technology, to have access even to the critics and the theory, all of this information. And when we have it, we did a discourse. Our thesis master it was very important for us because it wasn't just a thesis, it was the discourse for the practice that we will do for the rest of our lives. And we did a switch, a completely switch. We didn't want to practice conventional. We didn't want to have a conventional practice, but also it was involved in terms of education. So in 2014 or 2013, we had a conversation with Evan Douglas, which is the dean and RPI where we did our master, and he told us, you should not stay here in New York. You should go to Latin America and change the things through the discourse that you have. And we believe in that. Okay, so we moved to Latin America and we start working with all of these institutions and even the communities. But at the end, we knew it because it happened to us. It happened to us. So we started. It wasn't easy, to be honest, because it's very difficult to move forward a city in the Caribbean because it's hot, because it's humid, and because the attitude of the society is still there, like at the beach. I don't want to do anything else. So it's very hard. But at the same time, we start having results, small results and big results, and the institution start calling us to make that change.
Before we get that next question, so in Cartagena, culturally, it's you're surrounded by this beautiful landscape, this colonial architecture. Centro Histórico is absolutely beautiful, but it's called the Immobile City because it's been like that for 500 years. The surrounding city is, it's not that it's deteriorating, it's that it's never been well developed because it is a developing country. So you are accustomed to criticizing, I think, just culturally, you're very accustomed to criticizing, to saying, this is terrible, this city is chaotic, it's so hot, and nobody does anything, and the politicians are corrupt. And I think that switch that Edgar is talking about flipping that switch and taking responsibility and saying, wait, I can make the change. I can be a part of that change. I can start to instigate that change. That was a process, and that was difficult. And that was thanks to education, it was thanks to traveling, it was thanks to understanding that, yeah, you can criticize, but what are you going to do about it? What are you going to do to change? So when Edgar mentions, Barnes and Nobles, it was months of Edgar and I sitting down and putting together a business plan and a plan for the next. We weren't sure how long it was going to take. We thought it was going to be faster, but it was a very long process. But I think that one of the big things that Edgar and I always tell our students is, you have to start with at least a dream, so that you have kind of that that direction that you want to go. And that's what we did in that Barnes and Nobles for months at a time in New York. Every afternoon we would head over there, and that's what we did.
Drinking Colombian coffee.
Drinking Colombian coffee. There's a question up there. You want to try and shout it?
So, my question is, so the impact that this information technology skills talking to skill that has been applied by others
Un ejemplo específico. ¿Cuál es un ejemplo específico?
Kubernetes. Yes, definitely. First, the students. We have students around the world, and I have a very precisely example in terms of this girl, this woman. She never believed that she could be working outside of Cartagena as an architect. And thanks to all of these strategies and classes that we teach her, in some point I told her, Luisa, I think you will work in New York City because you have those abilities now. She said, no, that's going to be impossible. So she started working with a few studios in Cartagena and in Panama, thanks because she knew these abilities. And at some point, Arquitectónica, which is a very important architecture studio in the United States, called her, sent an email. Lisa, we would like that you work here. Immediately she called me. She said, Edgar, thank you so much. So her life changed forever thanks to that. Another example is that we started working with foundations, Urban 95, which is a foundation that works with community, but in this case, just with kids, teaching architecture and design. So the approach that we have is, it wasn't just the students, the universities and institutions, also kids. And thanks, because the things that we were teaching in these institutions, they knew and they contact us and they say, hey, look guys, we have public spaces with these communities here in Cartagena, and this is an international foundation, and we would like that you be involved with us. And I can tell you a lot of examples of this, and that's what we're saying, that we started seeing the results, and that was the best part for us. Because we started to see that, it was hard. We had at the beginning a lot of enemies because we are anyway from Cartagena, but we had to go out. When we come back, we say, okay, we already have the courage and we will do it. Did that answer your question? Okay.
How is this
when I say that 16,000 individuals have fallen below the poverty line in Cartagena, the poverty line in Colombia is $300 a month. So the question that I think that you're asking is, you want me to show you a very specific kind of project that's been implemented in Cartagena. And when we worked with the Public Space and Mobility Office, we worked alongside students that we taught at the beginning of this journey, specifically Maria Angelica. And there was three ex-students of ours, architects already working in that public space and mobility. So these projects that you see on the screen behind us, these are projects that are going to be implemented in Cartagena. But this is the specific examples of what that change is occurring, what that change is doing in Cartagena. But it's not called the Immobile City for nothing. It takes a very long time for change to permeate. And if we taught for first years 10 years ago, we're talking about professionals that have around 5 years of experience right now. So it's slow. Doing change through education is not the fastest way to do it, of course. But when you have limited resources, I think it's the most important way to do it. Clayton, and then and Henry the third. Yeah, and Henry the third. Clayton. You want to say it?
We are being involved with communities through this institution. And it's easy for us because we start doing workshops. So in that case, the institution tell us to do the design of these workshops. So basically we design these workshops. Okay, it's gonna be in this specific community, in a river, or in an island with these characteristics, etc. It's going to be for kids, for adults, or student, university students, even for professors. So it depends on that, we work on the design of the academic program for the workshop. So it's very easy because at the same time that we are talking about design, we are doing the practice through this work.
And you give them confidence. It's insecurity. When people don't believe in themselves, when they don't believe in change, it's insecurity for the environment they're surrounded by and the capabilities that they have. So through the design processes that some of the students that are here have already gone through, it's a big exercise in just teaching them that they know how to do things that they didn't think that they knew how, and they have the capacity to learn. And in that capacity to learn, they have the capacity to change the environment around them.
What made you prioritize
I didn't get
What was why did we prioritize? Edgar has a really good saying for this. I'm going to butcher it, I don't remember it. But the history of humanity is categorized by technology, by the advancements that we have in technology. And if things haven't been working with the technology that has been being used currently, then maybe we should try something and update it and evolve things, which is the situation that we see in Cartagena.
Yeah, and actually helps a lot technology in the way that we practice. We had access to work in companies, all of these technologies, but not just as a representation tool, as a thinking. So the studios, the offices, the institutions that call us to be part of them is because we knew how it works in terms of thinking and how to develop ideas, not just follow orders.
Henry? Henry?
Okay, Henry, that's good.
So I find interesting is it's not modernist, talking about the 21st century. But we already have digital art, race. It's something that I don't know that how do you feel that the school, your school, are implementing absolutely
For creating architecture in Blacksburg?
how do those proclamations develop within the culture? Scientifically, I mean, there's those issues, and those are my I'd like to see more of that, and I see here, I'm wondering how the school more for us.
That was a great question, Henry. And I am going to venture to answer it. I think one of the reasons that Edgar and I are so attracted to Cartagena and New York, and we found that home between the two, and that we've now found our home here in Blacksburg, is because edges are always very interesting. That connotation of how they start to divide certain situations, and I think that those edges exist here, and they exist in Appalachia. If for example, if we take a look at Shelby Adams, who is a photographer who we saw yesterday at one of the foundation lectures, he deals with photographing the people from the hollers, and that's an edge as well. He showed photographs of communities that all developed along a specific line. So if we want to deal with those themes of gender inequality and social and the climate change issues that we have that exist around the world, it's about finding those borders, and it's about doing those projects on those borders and on those edges, and starting to bring those questions into that design process. The design process doesn't necessarily have to start from some of the growth of a coral. It could start from the analysis of how is that culture that's starting to not exist anymore in Appalachia. That analysis could be the springboard for the beginning of design process. It's all about taking that lens and changing it and applying it and finding those sites and those borders where we can start to implement it.
Henry, we have been living between Cartagena or between the Caribbean and New York City. So our minds understand both both worlds. New York teach us that no races, no gender, no limits, no borders. So in that sense, we saw a big opportunity here through Virginia Tech here in Blacksburg to keep doing that change. But in this sense, the scale is not going to be just in the Caribbean or in Latin America. We start spreading that transformation also here, because most of the students here are international students. In this moment, technology, we are global and we can have access to that. One of the experiences that we have here in Virginia Tech, specific with different cities, it was the interest of the students to hear all of these kind of experience that we have as an architect and also as an educator. So when we had the opportunity to come here to apply here, funny because we say, okay, this transformation, we're going to keep working in Latin America, definitely. Actually, they know that we are here, and they are very interested, and they are seeing what we're doing here, how we're going to share that later. But also, we started seeing this big opportunity with students from everywhere. And it's not about just our experience in Latin America, it's make them understand how technology, digital technologies, and what is behind the technology can change their lives too.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a great question, Michaela. So I'm going to start from the back and work up. So we left two programs that we began, the architecture program and the design program at Universidad Tecnológica de Bolívar. Those two programs, the base is this technology focus in terms and in terms of what was our inspiration or why did we decide to do it, it's because if we didn't do it, nobody would. It's if you see it, you need to do it because this is the moment. This is when. What other kind of for me or for the way that I look at it, what else would I want to spend my life doing other than serving a community that built me? Okay.
Bye.
The question is, what can you guys learn from our students in Colombia? What's the difference between students in Colombia and students here? That's a great question. You guys are very quiet compared to our students in Colombia. But the students, you guys always, well, students in general, I think, always manage to survive, to surprise me. It's a big argument between Edgar and I, how much we should and how much we can push you guys. And I always give you guys, I think, more of a benefit of the doubt in that I can push you more than I think that I can. and usually you guys are gonna surprise me. I think the difference between, I think humans are humans. I always say that in building cities. We're humans that when you look at, ancient Rome and you see a graffiti in Pompeii, it's still somebody just goofing off. So kids are kids wherever we are. But yeah, you guys are definitely more quiet, more reserved, a little bit less spontaneous, I would say.
Thanks to the new technologies, it's something that connects you with these students. They have, like you, an understanding about these new technologies because it's the way that you communicate yourself. But also, one of the things that I really, really want that you understand is the privilege that you have and that they don't have that. They don't have a 24 hours classroom 7 days. They don't have it. They go 3 days in the morning, 4 hours to a classroom that also is not prepared to be an architecture studio or foundation studio or MA studio. They go for the class for hours and they have to take the drawing plans, the physical models or whatever at home. Motorcycle, public buses, etc. They don't have that. They don't have computers, for example. They don't have professors like the ones that you have here. So like I say, when you understand the privilege, everything is going to start changing. And they know that we are here, and they say, always, they say, hey God, it's unbelievable the classroom that they have. So we understand that when we went to New York to do our master that we have the same privilege. They don't have money, we receive scholarships, but we understand that we share the information that we have because they will never have it. Even they can have Google or they can have internet. But anyway, nobody's going to talk about this, and it's going to be in Spanish. Time.
One last question. That's a great question. So I think a big issue in Cartagena that we have, and one of the most pressing habitat losses that we have is in the Bahia de Cartagena. So this is it's a natural bay. This is why the Spanish selected Cartagena to be that important port for them. But this right here is a connection to a river, and it's an important connection because it's the way that we bring everything from Cartagena, which is this is the industrial and the port area of the city, to the rest of Colombia. So it's an important waterway connection, but that means that this whole interior bay that used to be crystal clear blue ocean water with corals and an amazing habitat, it's almost non-existent. So the border of the water and this whole area of Cartagena, the photos that we're showing you, for example, of el centro histórico is just this little tiny piece over here. This is the rest of Cartagena. So the projects that we showed you it's about instigating a conversation and about starting to create that conversation that used to be non-existent. And the way that one of the strategies that, for example, we did was actual habitat creation in terms of creating sites for the creation and the growth of different species and different mangrove species, oyster species, seaweeds, and all of those are going to start to create those ecosystems to recuperate those areas. Did that answer your question? Okay. Thank you so much, everyone.